they make it look like they care about police officers and they act like they're doing something for police officers to the public at large, because most people don't call 911.
Right.
So most people are out here saying, oh, look what they're doing it. But when you do call, like you experienced, you get terrible service.
Yeah.
And it's not because the cops are terrible, it's because they don't have the manpower. And a cop call in sick, somebody gets hurt, you're done.
He is back. 3-peat.
Oh yeah, man. I'm excited every time I come on the show.
Oh yeah, dude. We got to wrap up on those police stories. You had some crazy ones on the last one. Man, this guy's seen some stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, what else you seen?
Well, you know what? I could say maybe some of the other crazy stories were a little more graphic. I think I told you about, did I tell you about the guy on the freeway?
The beheading?
Yeah. He lost his head. I got to think of some other ones, man. Maybe I'll think of them as we go, but I've seen a lot of crazy stuff and I heard of a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one that I heard of.
Okay.
I wasn't there to experience this one, but one of the guys that I work with told me a story about a lady who had passed away, and she had passed away, I don't know, maybe like she was gone for about a month or so. Nobody knew she was in there. She fell in between the crease of the bed and the wall. And when he went to grab her to pick her out of the side of the wall, I mean, like a chicken wing. The bone, the meat, muscle, everything came off the arm.
Wow. That is nuts. So the body must have been there for months.
It was there for, it was probably over a month. It was horrible.
Jeez.
The worst one that I saw was a guy, unfortunately, you could tell he was stepping over his table to try to step over the table to get on the couch.
Yeah.
And he must have had a heart attack right there.
Whoa.
One leg on the table, one leg on the floor, face in the couch. And he was green. He had a blister on his back that was about this big. Smelled horrific. And the craziest part of this is that when we tried to extract him from the couch, because we had to get his body up, his face was still stuck to the pillow and the face came off onto the pillow. So all his skin had decayed onto that pillow. And when we pulled it off, it pulled his face off with the pillow.
And the bodies are heavier when they're dead and they shit themselves.
They glowed. And like with that guy, I found out that blood and urine don't mix. So he was bleeding, obviously, because he was sitting there, he was pooling blood and urine.
Yeah.
And so all over the floor, to get to his body, you had to step in blood and urine.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was horrific, man. And they pop too, because they get bloated.
Yeah.
And if they're old enough and their skin is very thin, if you go to move them the wrong way, it can bust the skin and then they fluid and
oh my gosh.
Absolutely horrific. So cops don't get paid enough, just so you know.
What's the mental support that is provided to police officers when they do stuff like this?
In Tucson, we had a really good support system. The only objection is officers objecting to it, right? If they feel like it's stigmatized to go get help.
Yeah.
But anytime you're in a critical incident, whether it's a shooting, and a shooting, you have to take time off.
Yeah.
They make you take time off. That's why when you see shootings online and they say the cop is on administrative leave, administrative leave doesn't mean that you're guilty. Administrative leave is a process in which you could go home and kind of recover from a traumatic incident.
Yeah.
So that was standardized. And then on our department, anytime you had any conflict whatsoever, anytime, any day, you could call the mental health line. And they were specifically hired to help police officers. So at any point you can go to counseling about anything, personal life or professional life.
Yeah. How overworked were you? Because when I called the cops in LA, they wouldn't come for 8 hours.
Oh yeah, it's insane. It's insane. What happens is police officers are so underfunded, understaffed, that if you don't call for an absolute emergency, they can't show up. When I would go to work, I worked 21 to 07, which is 9 to 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
When I would go to work, we would have 40 calls holding for service on our board.
Whoa.
40. And that's grandma that's been waiting 10 hours after somebody burglarized her house. And what happens is it builds up. We only go to level 1, level 2s. And that's me, the person with a gun, a shooting, a fatality, and things like that. So when you're in a busy city and you're understaffed, that's what happens. And it's unfortunate because before I left the police department, we had a young lady that got raped.
Yeah.
And she waited for 7 hours.
What?
Cops still didn't show up. Her dad drove from San Diego to come get her, and we hadn't showed up yet, and he just took her back home to San Diego.
Holy
and didn't even meet with officers about the report.
Damn.
So it got horrific in Tucson, Arizona at one point when I was there.
You think that's been fixed by now?
No.
So it's still
They're
bad?
so leftist out there. They're so progressive.
Shout out to today's sponsor, Prolon. If starting the year with a fast feels a little daunting, you're not alone. There's an entire community of individuals wanting to make a meaningful decision in their health, just like you. This is what makes group fasting so powerful and why I'm joining in on Prolon's January Longevity Challenge, which is a coach-led program to set you up for fasting success. Prolon's fasting mimicking diet is a revolutionary plant-based nutrition program that nourishes the body while making cells believe they're fasting. I got all 5 boxes here and I'm starting day 1 tomorrow. It's researched and developed for decades at USC's Longevity Institute and backed by leading US medical centers. It helps promote healthy blood sugar, enhanced skin appearance, fat loss, and improved energy and focus. It all starts with their 5-day program, which contains snacks, soups, and beverages designed to keep the body in a fasting state. No guesswork or planning required, which is a relief after a busy holiday. If you guys are ready to make 2025 your healthiest year yet, order your Prolon 5-day kit at prolonlife.com/DSH. And they're offering Digital Social Hour listeners 15% off their 5-day nutrition program. Use the code DSH at prolonlife.com/DSH.
They make it look like they care about police officers and they act like they're doing something for police officers to the public at large, because most people don't call 911.
Right.
So most people are out here saying, oh, look what they're doing. They're doing it. But when you do call, like you experience, you get terrible service.
Yeah.
And it's not because the cops are terrible. It's because they don't have the manpower. And a cop call in sick, somebody gets hurt, you're done. We would go to work, and then the people in Tucson probably would not like to know that this is true, but every person who pays taxes should be asking their police officers, who's on duty? I need an audit of who's on duty at what time frame. I would go on from 21 to 07. We had a swing shift from 17 to 03. So from 5 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and then we came on from 9 to 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
There were times where we deployed 2 officers to cover from 3 o'clock in the morning to 7 in the morning. 2 officers in the entire west side of Tucson.
Wow.
If something happened, you're screwed. And you better hope the 2 officers are good.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get a rookie and somebody else, you're going to be screwed. So the public should be aware of how policing really is going in their city. Yeah, some cities do well, but this is the cities that are not performing, bro.
What's the process if someone's living in a city and they want to audit their local police if they're being efficient?
Well, you can have a FOIA request. You can request data, you can request case reports and different things like that.
Got it.
And they have to disclose certain things to you. Now, I'm not familiar because I've never done it. I don't know what the police department can actually withhold from your knowledge. But the police department and dealings and all of this is public record. Their budget is public record. The way they spend is all public record. So you can request the public records of what the police department is doing, and that's quasi an audit. If you want to get a one-to-one experience on the police department, you can do a ride-along. So you can go in, sign up, as long as you're not a felon.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sign up if you got warrants, because they will let you do the ride along and then arrest you, right? So, oh yeah, they will. Oh, they'll let you come in there. Hey, how you doing? Oh, put your hands behind your back. So make sure you're clean before you go in there. But then you'll be able to ride with a police officer for an entire shift, and you'll be able to see firsthand radio calls for service, how they deal with the public, how many officers are out there or not out there, how violent your city is.
Yeah.
Because most people don't know how violent their city is because you don't experience.
Right.
But people are getting raped. People are getting, I mean, you name it. These things are happening to people on a day-to-day basis. And the people who know about it are the police officers, right? And not necessarily the citizens who are asleep at night when all this stuff is going on.
Do you get a lot of angry police officers messaging you when the FBI lied about the crime statistics?
Yeah, not a lot hit me up, but a lot of people, I'm assuming, were upset about it.
Yeah.
One reason is because the administration that's in office right now, thank God that they're not going to continue, but they did it for political purposes. It wasn't an accident. It's not like they accidentally got the wrong stats.
Right.
They knew, and I honestly believe they coordinated with certain jurisdictions to not report the stats.
Wow.
So they can say crime is down, everything is better, when the people did not feel that. People knew that the crime was up. You could feel it. The migrants and all this stuff, the illegal aliens, people can feel it. So then when the report came out, Donald Trump was right in the debate that he had mentioned it, then people can feel, they kind of align with what they really were experiencing.
Yeah.
And that is that the crime was out of control. And crime stats are often manipulated because crime happens, and if you don't report it, it didn't happen.
Oh, true.
So a lot of people who get their car broken into, they're like, I'm not finna wait 10 hours for a cop to get here, man. I just take that as a loss.
Yeah.
Your car still got broken into, but that doesn't show up in the stats.
Good point.
People that get abused, people that get in assaults, shootouts, nobody snitching. No victim, no
Especially in
witnesses.
certain neighborhoods, they're not snitching.
They ain't snitching. So there was shootings, but it's not reported. And so that's why the stats can be sort of misleading. And departments and city council members, they know how to manipulate the stats to get the results that they want, which are, in my opinion, should be criminal.
Right. That's a good point, though. So the stats aren't as bad as what they actually are, is what you're saying.
Yeah, either or, right? Sometimes they're better. Sometimes the stats display something that's worse because it's not in context.
Right.
And then there's cases where it shows as if it's better, but it's much worse.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger problem, especially the way they reclassify. They used to have race on the classification. I don't know how they do it now. I don't know how they count it now, but I know how they do it. It used to be white, black, Asian, Hispanic. Now it's non-white Hispanic, or non-white, non-Hispanic, or black, non-Hispanic. And so I don't know what concoction that they're putting together that can say what they wanted to say, because they can say a person is white, Hispanic, or a person is white, non-Hispanic. What does that even mean?
Right.
And they can put numbers. If you ever look at statistical data and you see the other section, that's the ambiguous nature of the way they calculate the numbers.
Yeah.
So they'll have a white section, a black section, a Hispanic. You always got to look at the other. And that other could be indicative of an overinflated number of one of those groups that they did not calculate properly because they do not want it to show up. You look at crime statistics, just say aggravated assault. You see black, white, you see other. You look at crime statistics with gun violence, you'll see handguns, AR-15s, and then you go down the list, it's other weapons. They have a way of manipulating the way they count the stats, right, to make other the overflow of the numbers so they can fix these numbers that you pay attention to.
Yeah. So do you think the other should be removed from every poll?
I think that they should, if they keep other there, they should have an asterisk next to what is other. When you're talking about race, what is another? Is that a person that did not identify? Or is that a person that identifies something that's not in your box? But if you knew what they identified as, like if you saw the actual form, you could predict that they may be a part of the black race, white race, or Hispanic race. So what are you calculating in the other section is what I think that they should put on there. If not, they need to get rid of it.
100%. Some people are probably just filling it out because they don't want to tell what they are too.
Right, 100%. They write in something. I mean, so.
It's wild. How are police officers supposed to be handling the illegals? Like if they want to arrest an illegal person, like what's the process with that? Yeah,
in some of these liberal cities, and it happened to me in Tucson with SB 1070, what happens is the way it's supposed to work is that there's federal crimes. Local law enforcement should abide by assisting to detain people who commit federal crimes, right? Robbing a bank is a federal crime. It's not a local crime. It's not a city code violation. Yeah. It's a federal crime. Local law enforcement are involved in arresting, detaining until FBI comes and does the full investigation. We do it in that sense. If somebody commits an internet crime, internet crimes are federal because it's across jurisdictions. We still detain a person, we still take them into custody, and we notify federal authorities to come and finish the investigation. That's the way it should occur with illegal aliens. If you encounter a person who's undocumented or illegally in this country, we should detain them and let Border Patrol ICE come and finish the investigation. But what's happening is that because of political reasons and the sanctuary status of some of these cities, they're telling police officers, you can't do anything about their status. You can't ask them. Wow. You can't do anything. If you get them and their only crime is being illegal, you got to release them.
Wow.
And so if we had just changed that, we would see so many more arrests made and less crime by illegal aliens. Yeah. And many of these people will be deported. There's over 1.4 million or so people with deportation orders.
Yeah.
And that means that when Trump gets in office, he says he's going to deport, they're going to start with them.
Yeah.
But it's almost impossible to do that if you don't have local law enforcement support.
Right.
So the left, by and large, they're disempowering police officers to actively go after people who should be held accountable on a federal level.
Yeah. Are you worried that with these deportations, it could get ugly? They could fight back with violence?
I don't think so.
You think they'll go?
I think there's a big delineation between illegal criminals and mom and them just trying to have a better life.
Yeah.
People who are heavily involved in criminal activity, are separate, in my opinion, from those people.
Right.
So once we go after them, these people are habitually committing crimes. These people have criminal records. We could go after them methodically and arrest them and deport them in a very easy way.
Yeah.
And I would argue that's a minority of the of people that are in this country illegally,
Right.
is the criminal element. So I don't think you're going to see a big backlash.
Okay.
The people, if they're honest and they tell the truth that we're not going to deport every single person that's here illegally, they will be excited that you're getting rid of people who don't want to be here, who's committing crimes and embarrassing the reputation of people who just want to have a better life.
Agreed. Yeah. I think that distinction's important, right? You don't want to group everyone into one category.
Man, being conservative, sometimes conservatives go a little bit overboard with this.
Yeah.
You shouldn't come in our country illegally. But at some point, we have to differentiate between the two. There's people here that just want to have access to the American dream like anybody else. They either got tricked or lied to on how to get here, and that's why they came illegally instead of through a port of entry.
Right.
If given the opportunity and we didn't have so many illegal people coming to this country, they probably would have an opportunity, given the fact that we do allow the most immigrants in our country than any country in the world.
Yeah.
Every year, over 1 million. So I think that those good, hardworking people would have an opportunity to be citizens if we wouldn't let these criminals and all these other people come into our country. I really think we do need to make that distinction, though, because you begin to create a broad brush and alienate certain people that are actually benefiting America to a certain degree.
Agreed. Did you see what happened to Nick Fuentes yesterday?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see this?
No.
Man. Someone pulled up to his house with a gun.
Really?
Yeah. The guy ended up dying. The police shot him.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, because he got doxxed.
Yeah.
So his address got leaked by some hater. Scary time.
Well, good that the cops were there to support him. I'm not a big Nick Fuentes fan, but I don't think people should be doxxed and killed because of their political beliefs.
Agreed.
You're free to say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Nick Fuentes says all kind of stuff I don't agree with, but he can say what he wants. I don't care. If I care enough, then I should combat what he say in debate.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that cancel culture or whatever the case may be, which I think that has happened to Nick Fuentes. Now, in a private setting, if you're a company, you don't want any association with them, that's different.
Right.
But on the public sphere, on social media, Nick Fuentes should be able to say whatever he want to say and represent whatever he want. I don't care if it's racist or not.
Yeah.
I don't care if he say he don't want no black people on planet Earth. That's fine. You should be able to say that.
Yeah.
But in an intellectual debate, I should be able to challenge you that way instead of wanting you to get canceled. So I'm glad that he didn't get killed over something like this.
He didn't get killed, but the guy killed 2 people and 2 dogs on the way to his house.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, this happened yesterday.
So this guy was just shooting people down the street, or just shot people related to Nick Fuentes?
He killed 2 people in a separate incident and then went to Nick's house.
Oh, so this guy was on a rampage.
Yeah, but he was targeting Nick.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
Were these people associated with Nick?
No, I think they were just 2 people, but he killed 2 of his neighbor's dogs when he was running away. So 2 innocent dogs died.
Well, that's very sad that somebody got killed. I'm glad that Nick didn't. Unfortunately, these other people got killed.
He got it on his video on the front door.
That's insane, dude. I didn't even see that.
Scary, man.
I might have to report on that.
Yeah, looking at that, man. That's not cool, though. That's a whole nother level.
It's a whole nother level, man. And I'm glad that the cops got to that guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to be... You deserve what you get if you go to try to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So him losing his life at the hands of the police officers, that's what you get.
Absolutely. You been doing any debates lately?
No, I've been on campus a little bit, for Turning Point USA, who runs this whole thing.
Yeah.
I go to campus every now and again, and they're fun.
Right. Which campus did you go to recently?
Washington, University of Washington.
Are you seeing them get better as you've been going to more and more? The students?
No.
Oh, really? I love the honesty, yo.
Oh, yeah, honestly, they crazier and crazier, man. Well, it depends on what city you go to, right?
Yeah.
Go to Seattle, they're nuts, man. I mean, I wear the Trump hat because I want to spark discussion.
Yeah.
Most universities, like when I went to Rutgers.
That's what I like, Rutgers.
Yeah, I went to Rutgers in Jersey. They were okay, mixed feelings. I forget the other place that I went. Memphis, University of Memphis. People didn't say nothing to me. I get to my booth, people come and debate. In Washington, the moment I get out of the car, somebody said, F Donald Trump, stuck a middle finger up at me. Every single person you pass is looking at you like, I can't believe he has a Trump hat on and he's black. I mean, I feel the hatred in Seattle more than anywhere else in the country. So it's different. The group of people that come to these debates are a mixed bag, right? You have the supporters of Turning Point that know that they love to hear it.
Yeah.
But then you have people who are crazy. But you have people who are crazy enough to ask a question. And that's the difference. So I think that the campus is probably far worse than what we get with somebody knowing that it's there and having enough courage to actually put themselves in front of a camera and ask the questions.
Right. I didn't know Seattle was that bad. Damn. I was never been there.
It's insane, man. There's certain places you go in the country and you can feel it in the air.
Yeah.
That they're just soy drinking, just crazy people that just are so intolerant.
Yeah.
If somebody had a Kamala hat, I don't like Kamala Harris whatsoever.
I've never seen a Kamala hat.
But if somebody wore it, I don't care. I wouldn't stick the middle finger up at you. I saw a lady today driving slow in the doggone HOV lane, which drives me crazy. I wish that I could run them off the road.
Yeah.
And she had a Kamala Harris thing on. I'm like, oh yeah, typical. But I'm not gonna stick a finger at somebody or cuss somebody out or get mad at somebody. They're not invited to my dinner at my house. I will never do that. I couldn't care less. You can believe who you want to believe. If you're that silly to follow her, then that's on you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hurt anybody. They don't feel the same about us.
Right.
They would kill me if they could. Many of them will try to fight me, but look at me. I don't think they really want to do that.
They don't want the smoke.
They don't want that smoke, but they'll fight somebody else. I see them flipping tables over at Turning Point, throwing water on people.
I've seen that, yeah.
It won't happen while I'm there, but that's how they do it.
Yeah. Do you think a part of that is they're being programmed to believe that way?
100%, man. They get indoctrinated with hatred, and they become entitled to where I'm more virtuous than the next person because I do these things that I've been indoctrinated to do. And it creates hatred. And I'll say this, the ungodliness of many of these people, not everybody is bad that don't believe in God, but I'm saying just the ungodliness of some of these people cause them to hate other people more so than saying, I'm tolerant, I love you, although we disagree.
Yeah.
Because MAGA supporters and stuff, they're not racist, Nazis and stuff that they say they are, but it's the intolerance and the ungodliness that's in their heart that makes them feel that they hate you. And also, when you have a good argument and you can articulate yourself, kind of like a child, when a child can communicate, they're not as vitriolic.
Yeah.
But when they feel suppressed and they can't find the words, they throw a tantrum. And that's what people on the left do many of the times. They can't beat you with an argument because they know their argument is wrong and they haven't thought it through.
Yeah.
And the embarrassment that they feel, and they can't fight you any other way, so they rather just lash out.
Facts. Usually when they're projecting hate, they're dealing with some internal stuff too.
What happens, it hurts. The truth will hurt you because they have to contend with, is my whole life a lie? Right? You go and tell a person, you say, America's not racist, and that's been their worldview. Then they have to say, is my mama a liar? My daddy a liar? My professor I love a liar? Have I been lying to other people? I've been pitching this agenda. I can't accept it. I can't accept it. You a liar. You're a sellout to your people. So instead of them internalizing and saying, maybe, just maybe this guy got a point, they have to lash out.
Right.
But when they get to the level of maturity enough to say, let me think about it, I think that's when many people begin to be more conservative.
Right. You saw that this election. I've never seen so many people flip in one election.
Oh, 100%. And it's because you can only get exposed to the truth so much and deny it before it becomes so apparent that you cannot deny it.
Yeah.
Right? You can deny it when it's just on paper. You can deny it when it's a federal election. You can't deny it when your paycheck is looking skinny.
All right.
When you can't go to the grocery store and you're like, I got to choose between getting meat and cheese or just cheese by itself. You know, you can't deny that. And once you get to that point and it start affecting you personally, people begin to wake up.
Absolutely. And you saw that and they weren't addressing it, the other side.
Right.
They skipped over the whole conversation about inflation and economics.
They thought they could win on emotionalism, not logic. I'll tell you, you can only go so far before logic begin to kick in. You can always make that emotional appeal. Oh, the white man is against you. Oh, black people feel, they start invoking historical segregation and slavery in black people, and that makes them upset. You can't do that cultural stuff or that emotional stuff only for so long before people begin to say, that's not what I really see, that's not what I really feel, and that's not what's most important to me.
Yeah, I think the black men shifted the most, right, out of the votes.
And I'm still quasi-disappointed that it wasn't a greater number.
Yeah, it was 70%, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we're still disproportionate and unbalanced. Every other group has a balance. Hispanics, white, Asian, it's like 40, 48, 51, somewhere around there. I mean, black people are still 90-some% Democrat women.
Yeah.
And then the men kind of moved a little bit. But I will say it's not indicative of the black community in totality because not everybody votes.
Right.
The problem is probably 60% of black people ain't even voting anyway.
Yeah.
So you can argue that maybe 60% of black people, out of the 60%, maybe majority of them are conservative. They just don't vote.
Yeah.
So once we get people more active, we'll be able to see a more raw number. And I'm hoping that black people wake up, because if they don't, and I think I said this on our last thing, they will be extinct politically. Once illegal aliens come in this country and they get amnesty or they get citizenship, their population number is going to supersede black people by far.
Yeah.
Black people historically have been the majority minority, meaning we've been the most important minority group in the country.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move below Hispanic, and you could vote 100% for your candidate of your choice, but you're not going to never win an election.
Yeah. Last question. You think Mike Johnson will be able to come back from this?
Who?
Congressman Johnson.
From the omnibus thing?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I would have to be on Capitol Hill and sit in these meetings to get a real glimpse of what's really going on, right? Because we get all the noise from here.
Right.
They loved him. They hated him last week, you know? And so you're like, is he doing wrong? Is he doing right? What is the real pressure that Congress is feeling? It seems very clear to me that we should not spend more money. We should not shut the government down. But why do Republicans and Democrats get into this gridlock position all the time?
Yeah.
So what I would say is I don't want to jump the gun and be like, oh yeah, we're going to cancel him. And they never do. Because they were trying to not have him as a Speaker of the House anyway, but then he's in now and they loved him, right? At first, I don't think he was very popular, but now Trump loves him and everybody else.
Yeah.
I think in order for a person to understand fully, you can have an opinion, you can have a feeling about it. In order to understand fully, you have to be in Congress yourself and experience what those conversations are, experience what's really on the line, experience, can you really come to a happy medium, or will they never?
Yeah. I like that take, because some people will see a clip of someone from a podcast and then judge them based off that 20-second clip.
And I learned that being a police officer. People say, oh, the cop should have did this and that. I'm like, if you actually was a cop for a day, you'll understand that all of this that you're saying makes absolutely no sense. That's not how this works. And I think that I'm just as ignorant in Congress.
Yeah.
I think a certain way, but I'm like, maybe I'm flawed in this.
At least you have that awareness, because there'll be a video of a cop arresting someone and then that cop will get a ton of heat on social media, but you don't know the full story leading up to what happened.
Right. They know, listen, man, I'm telling you, people don't even know the beginning of it. The way the calls come out, the way 911 dispatch calls, all of that is so many things happening to lead to what you see in that video.
Yeah.
There's training protocol. There's all of this stuff happens. I mean, there's 5,000 things happen before this short video. And I bet it's the same in Congress. There's 5,000 conversations that are happening. There's the government shutdown or not before we get to Mike Johnson criticism.
Yep.
So I think that it's good to have an opinion, but we have to understand that we're probably very novice in understanding this in totality.
Absolutely. What do you got next? What campuses are you hitting and what else are you working on?
Well, I'm not sure. So wherever they send me, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna tear up the campus. And when I say tear it up, I'm gonna give good dialogue and challenge people on the way they think. So I speak tomorrow at 1:20 here.
Yep.
It's always fun. I try to be excited. I try to be motivational. I don't really care too much about politics, because 50,000 people are going to talk to them about politics. I want to talk to them about their relationship with God and inspire them to be better people individually and be able to change the country moving forward. So I'm just trying to go where God called me, man, and just do the best that I can.
I love
it. So that's my next step is that.
Sure. Thanks for coming on again, dude. That was fun.
My pleasure, John.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
See you guys.